Memories of an African childhood, school days. Waking up was not an easy task. My mom would drag me out of bed and toss me out of the house to a waiting basin of water to wash my face. Washing one's face before eating breakfast was such a cardinal rule in that household, nobody ever skipped it. I have never known why. That done, we would herd around the hearth sipping tea. My mom maintained such a serious countenance in the morning. You could easily earn a slap or a cooking stick on your tiny head at that particular time over a slight mistake. We took our breakfast with such quiet, all you could hear was swigging and chewing sounds. Since school was near, the first bell would ring, and the next would mean we were late. When we woke early enough, we would wash our legs and arms, having washed our faces before breakfast, oil ourselves, sling our tiny bags on our backs, and go running the short distance to school. My school bag was populated by only 2 exercise books, wide-ruled for writing and narrow-ruled for math. The other occupant of that school bag was a small piece of pencil. My pencils were made shorter by my gnawing habits when writing. If you were late, you were stopped at the gate by the teacher on duty, made to kneel holding your ears, and crawl the 100 meters to the assembly place thus. At the assembly, you were caned 4 strokes or 5, or even 10, depending on the cruelty of that particular teacher. At the assembly, we would sing the national anthem and the loyalty pledge, pray, sing a hymn, and be addressed by teachers. After that, they would check whether we had long nails. If you had long ones, you were given a good beating and sent home. Done with the assembly, we would run to class. There was an obsession with us kids to always run whenever we were going anywhere and be the first to get there and shout 1, 1. The second one would shout 2, 2, and so forth. Whether going to the latrines, going out for breaks, or coming back from lunch, we went home for lunch. We never walked. We always ran. Another obsession for us kids was saying everything at the top of our voices. When you asked your name, you would shout it out at the top of your voice. In my case, then, my name is Alfred Kiprotich Baruse Kenyuo Kilache. Learning was by rote, so we would shout everything after the teacher. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, A, E, I, O, U, ad infinitum. The only pupil who was disadvantaged in this game was a friend of mine called Peter. He was such a stammerer that I never got to know his second name till he dropped out of school. He could faint trying to get a single syllable out. The first lesson of the day was always math, which I loathed no end. We would go to the dusty road behind our school, clear a space each, and write down our math. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Very big ones. The teacher would come and mark with his finger too. A long tick or a big cross. If not solving math on the dirt road, there were no vehicles, we would count the sticks or bottle tops in class. We would also count our fingers and toes. That was math. I had a cousin, Stephen, who went by the nickname Tractor, maybe because he was huge. He was very good at math, but he hardly came to school. The reason why he stuck in my mind is because of his handwriting. When he was writing, say, a figure 1, he would draw such a big one that it would occupy the whole page. Ditto everything else. He finished his exercise books in a day. He is now called 54, a very interesting fellow indeed. The second lesson was English. We would sing A, B, C, D the whole time. At times, we would be given a textbook titled Tom and Mary. This was my favorite subject. Tom and Mary was an illustrated book about a family of Mr. and Mrs. Kamau. Mr. Kamau was a school bus driver. Mrs. Kamau was a housewife. Tom and Mary were pupils. They had a little brother called Peter, a dog, and a cat. I remember everything like yesterday because English was my favorite subject. We would sing about these stories after our teacher. We could not read, so everything in our class was sung after the teacher. The man is Mr. Kamau. The woman is Mrs. Kamau. The boy is Tom. The girl is Mary. The baby is Peter. The cat is drinking milk. And so on and so forth. English tests involved filling in the missing words, the A in cat, the O in boy, etc. It was very easy for me, and I would score 100%. Did I tell you that we were categorized in rows according to cleverness? My row, I was brilliant except in math, was called lion. The next was elephant, and the dullest of us were called giraffe. We sat on benches that were fixed to the ground. The third lesson was science. We just planted beans and maize in tins at the corner of our class. Our classes did not have doors or windows. Our plants would bend towards the light, and that was science for us. There was home science, too. Other subjects were mother tongue, Swahili, civics, history, geography, art and craft, music, and physical education. They deserve a whole page each to describe.